Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to have a look at Jazla111, who's looking for an explanation. This guy's level of understanding is so poor, he doesn't even know what up and down is. A great bunch of people who do know up and down and are totally on the level are my amazing patrons. With massive thanks to all my patrons, including new patrons Larry XK, Yuha Escalinen, Purple Rhymes with Orange, Tim Nicholas, Royce C, Key Weasel and Lucas Hoy, and my latest patrons David Fisher and Jeff Plessier. Thank you all so very much. Okay, Jazla111, you better tell us what your 3 problems with the globe Earth are. Roll VT.
Alright, welcome.
Right, thank you.
I want to make a video about curvature, okay?
Okay, but you do promise it's not going to be too dumb, don't you?
If I'm standing on an ice lake or something like that, well, it's 8 inches per mile, which is 8 inches the opposite direction mile.
Well, I guess now's not really the time to get into
higher mathematics.
But it's actually 8 inches per mile squared for a short distance, a few miles. It's a rough guideline.
Okay, so basically how can and how is it possible to walk?
Didn't you learn? You start with crawling, then you start walking around holding furniture, and oh, is that not what you meant?
And how is it possible to walk from this location to here, which is 8 inches below my level and below my level?
Oh, I think this is going to be good, isn't it?
And this original location be 8 inches below my feet.
Let's get this clear. You're asking how you can walk a distance of a mile downhill 8 inches, and yet the point you started from is then 8 inches below you.
This location is going to be 8 inches above my feet.
Yep. I'm afraid you really are that dumb.
Do you understand that? The only way for this to become 8 inches below, which would be here, which would be from here to the 8 inches, you understand that? If I'm standing here, is if the Earth moved.
Look, Professor, nobody is claiming that if you move 1 mile, your start point has changed its elevation.
Do you understand that?
And I'm afraid that you don't.
Because you can't walk around a ball and eventually you're going to be facing over here. Gravity doesn't determine direction, your senses, to know which way is up.
Well, my doubting little fluff bunny, I'm afraid it does. In your ear, you have 3 semicircular canals. As your head moves direction, fluid in those canals triggers signals to your brain indicating the position of your head. There are 3 of them in different planes, indicating left, right, up, down, and so on. This is why people with certain ear infections, where their ear canals aren't working properly, can no longer balance. It all works on gravity.
You know which way is up. You're always in this location. You're always perpendicular.
Yes, perpendicular to the surface of the Earth, wherever you are around that sphere. You are one of those fools who think that we're claiming that there is a top and a bottom to the Earth.
The only way you can travel around a ball, I'll zoom out a little bit, is if you are the person and when you walk, the Earth is moving under your feet.
Oh my goodness. Well, what happens if someone's walking the other way towards you? That means the Earth's moving in 2 directions.
That's the only way plausible. It cannot happen any other way.
I think somebody needs to go into the remedial class, don't you?
For you to walk 1 mile and it's 8 inches below, how can the original location be 8 inches below your feet?
It isn't. It just looks like that from your point of view.
That means that when I walk out here, okay, that means the Earth is moving like this as you go around and follow that so-called curvature. That can't be possible.
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
Unless you are actually stationary and everything moves when you move. But then we have another big problem.
Oh, do we? Please be my guest.
You're always upright and the Earth rotates in 24 hours, 360 degrees. Do you understand that? When I rotate, okay, the level is changing. The 8 inches is now above my feet and now it's 16 inches below my feet.
Hello, is it possible to nominate someone to be euthanized and to be used for medical science?
And to work out every angle for every mile, it's 0.0144, because if you times that by 24,900 miles or even 25,000 miles, you get 360 degrees. So it's basically giving you an angle per every mile, and if you work that angle out, it's 8 inches and 8 inches either side of you, which would be 16 inches here and 16 inches here. So that's basically
evidence that although you can do some simple maths, you can't grasp a simple concept.
Proves to me that we don't live on a ball.
Come on then, tell us the second problem.
Okay, have you ever taken a chain off your push bike and tried to ride it? It doesn't work.
Doesn't it? Well, slap my ass and call me Shirley.
There's no friction to turn the back wheel. When you have a high pressure, and then a low pressure, and then a high pressure, and then a low pressure, and then a high pressure, and then a high pressure, well, this high pressure needs to push off something. If the atmosphere here is a low pressure, this high pressure can't push this low pressure. It's just going to fill the space.
It doesn't need to push on it. And actually, yes, high pressure areas do try and equalise with low pressure areas. That's what wind is.
For the Earth to spin, the pressure needs to be the same all the way around.
Nope. The Earth is rotating and the atmosphere is also rotating.
Like they try and say, oh, it's a train. Well, the Earth isn't sealed like a train, okay? The Earth doesn't have a roof sealing it, apparently. So if the Earth doesn't have a roof sealing it, like how a train has the pressure gradient the same in the whole train, that's why when you move at the constant motion, you don't feel anything. But you rip the roof off, so it's just the ground or the base of the train, and then see what happens. The wind and the force is going to create destruction in that train. You only have to remove the front window and see what happens.
Surely this isn't a difficult concept to grasp. If your train doesn't have a roof and walls and whatever, if you're travelling along at 75 miles an hour on a windless day, it will feel like the wind is going past you at 75 miles an hour.
Well, the Earth doesn't have a front window and it doesn't have a roof, okay? And this just totally proves to me
that padded rooms are a good idea for some people.
That the Earth is stationary. You can't say space. This section of space, okay, is connected to the Earth.
We don't, and it isn't.
They're independent. Because it's like spinning a ball. You spin a basketball, the atmosphere doesn't follow the ball around.
Well, if your basketball had a circumference of 40,000 kilometres and weighed approximately 5.972 times 10 to the power of 24 kilograms, then the atmosphere would be rotating with it. Come on, problem number 3, please.
Okay, we have a road. But the landmass, when I'm standing here, the road actually angles in.
No. With perspective, the distant end of the road appears to have angled in.
So what is actually happening to the land?
What?
The land is actually warping and bending.
The only thing warping and bending is your mind. What a
This is why you think it's a ball, because you're measuring perspective.
Okay, one last time. These are small, but the ones out there are far away.
The further away it is, it compresses, it compacts. And if I was to walk from this end of the road to the other end of the road, do you know what happens?
Your carers chase after you very quickly.
It goes like this. And then when I'm at the other end of the road, it's back like this. So it's actually changing. Things are moving, they're morphing, they're warping. It's perspective. But anyway, I'll leave that with you. Have a good one.
They're trying to fool us, you know?
Who?
Them. All of them. They never even went to space. You know why? Because they don't want us to know that the Earth is flat.
None of this is difficult to understand. You can find explanations for all of it with 2 minutes Googling. Jazla, I'm willing to do lots of silly things on camera, but I'm not willing to look as stupid as you have just looked. Jazla, I can only imagine that you would struggle with the concept of a pair of socks. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Until next time, stay sensible. Bugger.
Shut up and sit down.